Merriam-Webster defines smorgasbord as a luncheon or supper buffet offering a variety of foods and dishes. Similarly, life in and of itself is a variety of people, careers, and cultures. Join me, Matt Bingle, as we discuss how each individual became the person that they are today, and whatever else they want to talk about too. It's an open invitation, and you're invited. So come on in and grab a seat. Welcome to Bingle Smorgasbord. Hi there, welcome to Bingle Smorgasbord. Come on in, grab a seat. Make yourself at home. My name's Matt Bingle. Welcome again to Bingle Smorgasbord. Today, I am so excited to welcome Jocelyn Stevenson, one of the co-creators of Fraggle Rock. We do talk about Fraggle, but we mostly talk about her current book series, The Waterubas. If you're a parent of elementary school children, say 4th or 5th grade, this might be a book series you'll definitely want to check out. Books 1 and 2 are available wherever you find your favorite books. This is truly an amazing, amazing book series, and I highly recommend it. It's called The Waterubas. Check it out. I also open up about my brother. If you have not seen previous episodes, not all of them, but I have a twin brother who has nonverbal cerebral palsy. I go into some of the challenges, but also a lot of the joys that I get, but also the trust that is put into me because I'm taking care of my brother, especially with my parents' trip. Now, we are recording this just before my parents leave for this big vacation, which I'll go more into, but I talk about the trust that I have been given, which I am grateful for. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Love you. We also talk about Fraggle Rock, mainly Fraggle Rock Back to the Rock, and how I feel it is more of an expansion rather than a reboot of the original Fraggle Rock series. Do check it out on Apple TV if you're able to. I can't believe I got through that without getting emotional, but enjoy our chat with Jocelyn Stevenson. Well, first of all, we are absolutely delighted to have you on. First of all,
well, thanks for asking me.
No problem.
Thanks for the confirmation emails, Andy. You've gotten good.
I've been helping out too with that.
Yeah, but you got it. That's nothing like making a mistake, because then
it happens. It happens.
Yeah,
that week was like a horrendous week for me anyway. Oh. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah, okay.
It just worked out better, and we have more episodes out, so it actually kind of works out.
Yeah.
So as mentioned, our main focus is the Waterubas.
Thank you.
Books 1 and 2. This is book 2. Definitely get a copy. There are 81 Waterubas to be found. Is there a specific reason why the number 81? Or was it just because?
No, I like the number 9.
Got it.
9 times 9.
9
years
squared,
ago. Yeah, when I was a kid, my mother explained to me the beauty of the 9 times the 9 times table, right? And just this idea that if the numbers add up to 9, they're divisible by 9. I mean, it's a beautiful number. So that's why. And then I was also, somebody said to me at one point, well, couldn't you have had fewer than, 81? It's a lot. And yeah. But if, 6 Waterubas came together on an asteroid 4 billion years ago, that's just lame. It needed to be a big enough number so that you feel like, it takes something to find them because they're spread all over the planet.
Right.
So anyway. Yeah, no, but it was really just, I do like the number 9. I think I've said throughout the book, because both Miriam and Brad like the number 9 too. She brings it up. Yeah. Yep. So it's a number thing for me.
Huh. Fascinating. I've always had a fascination for numbers myself, but I don't know why I just thought it was some other reason. I love that though. I love that. Now, just for clarity for our audience, the Waterubas, they do not merely dwell in the water. They actually are water.
Yes. In fact, that's a very important to me, a very important distinction. They're not creatures who live in water. They are water. And so you can have, whatever, a glass of water and it looks like there's nothing in there, but there could be several Waterubas and then they just appear out of the water because they're made of water. And the thing about that, when I have been thinking about it, obviously, even since I finished writing the books, the thing is then that means that they as characters behave like water. And that means they were a really good vehicle for explaining how water works, And to me, the big important thing, but it's very hard to write for them because they don't want anything. Usually when you're writing, there's characters want something or they don't want something else. Waterubas, they don't want anything to be any different than it is, which I think is a really interesting contrast to human beings, which is if kids think about that, I'd be happy if they would think about that. Yes, they just, they don't care. They don't care if they're polluted. They're polluted. That's what it is. If they don't try not to evaporate. They're going to evaporate. They never. Water doesn't want anything. If it's floating down, there's a rock ahead of it. It just goes around. It's never wants anything to be different than it is. So was another thing. It was an epiphany at first. It was only when I started to ask people that I knew that were artists to design them. People kept coming back at me with creatures who lived in water, and one day and she was a rookie animator actually, and she got really interested in the Waterubas, and she did these really lovely little simple drawings where they were the water, like bits of wave, and if that was when it hit me. It was I went, wait a minute, so. They're creatures, they're not creatures that live in water. Very important. They are water. So then I'm going to carry on talking like this. Is this okay for you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So then I was like, I'm not an artist. I can't make a squiggle that looks like it's water or not water, right? I'm really not. So I was like, how do I talk to artists about this? How do I say this? And so I went to see my great friend, Brian Froud. And I've known Brian for 45 years or whatever. Brian and Wendy, his wife, Wendy, the old friends. And I know Brian well enough to know that to ask him to do artwork for something like this, no, I would never dare. But I did want to talk to him about how do I talk to artists about it. So we went down to Devon to see him and Wendy. And I had a walk with Brian, and I was saying, okay, telling him about the Waterubas and what I knew about them, and so how do I talk to an artist about this to get what I want? He just sort of nodded and listened and didn't say much, and then we all had a lovely lunch and went home. And about 3 weeks later, he sent me 19 of them, and Brian. He said to me, I don't do anything. He doesn't need to anymore, right? And he's really well known for all of the work he's done with fairies and designing Labyrinth. And but he's a genius at bringing in creatures from another dimension. And he said, I was really, if I get intrigued by something, then I can't not, then I have to do something. So he'd gotten intrigued by this idea of characters made of water that were water. So that really intrigued him. And when he sent me those 19 Waterubas, it cracked open everything because I was writing the book. So so it meant I could describe them because, hey, writing originally was going to be TV. And then it would have meant leaving it to some designer and the director or whatever to figure out what they looked like. But in a book, I had to describe them. And when and the other thing that was really interesting was he sent 19, and we all agreed immediately which one was Crakey. And I don't think he knew Crakey from, but it just was this one particular one Crakey that he'd drawn. And Wendy and I both went, that's Crakey. It has to be Crakey. That was so interesting to me that it was just obvious. So then I said to Brian, oh, thanks. You've cracked open this whole project for me. It's made all the difference. he gave me the 19 to be used in publishing, and I mean, ultimately, we'd love to do a film, and I said, the thing is, Brian, you gave me 19, but there's 81, and I'm not going to say on a podcast what he said to me. It was basically along the lines of, go away. So
that's how he is with me sometimes. It's like, go away.
Go away.
Just go.
But he said he wanted to oversee the design of the rest of the one, as they were being designed. And so that was great, because I never even would have asked him to do that. I was so glad he volunteered to do that. So that's how it all happened. But yeah. And then I just, I love them. I think they're all hanging up back there. And then Natasha DuPont-DeBee, who's a friend, who also knows Brian. She worked, and the new ones that you see in book 2 are her designs. Some of the new ones, and they're great. I mean, they're Waterubas. So there we are. Ultimately, I'll stop talking in a minute. Don't worry. Ultimately,
You're fine.
We haven't, all 81 haven't been designed. I want a website that's that will be able to take suggestions from kids and see what kids would do, if they could design them. So
I love
part
that.
of the bigger thinking. Yeah. It was because I worked with Mind Candy and the Marshy Monsters years ago. I don't know whether you know those. And the Marshy Monsters was a big online world for kids under the age of 13. And what was so impressive to me working for those guys was that to see what the kids contributed. They designed things, they wrote stories, they did. You just think, that's what you want. You want that kind of involvement. So
it's a way for them to interact with you also.
Yeah, totally. Which I love.
Yep.
Yeah. I just did a book festival up in Lancashire.
Oh, nice.
And, was able to in person introduce the Waterubas to about 300 kids.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
I loved it because you get to talk to them and see their faces and see whatever is going on. It was great.
Yeah.
But I'm out of my comfort zone. I've never done anything like that before.
Really?
But it's no, because when you work in TV, you don't do that. It's book tours and stuff. People who write books do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I had never done it before, but then once I did it, I just love it. So we're looking to do schools tours and things like that now.
Ooh.
Oh, that's exciting. I think that'd be great. Getting kids feedback and whatnot. I mean, 300 kids for your first one, that's already impressive enough. But going to schools, you could get many ideas.
Yeah. And feedback. Yeah, exactly.
And feedback is good. Even if constructive, feedback is good.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or even if a kid, I mean, all for both books, I had readers who read them. When because I didn't know how to write a book for a 9 to 12-year-old, I had to learn. And I had readers of people that I trust to tell me this is terrible, which to begin with it was. And because I write screenplays. And so I had to, the difference is huge, which I had to learn. Anyway, so yes, but I also then had kids in the audience read them, both books. And they give you, there's like, well, I didn't really understand this, or I didn't, so boom, you get to fix it before it was published. It was great. Yeah. And they'll tell you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll be brutally honest. I love that. I love that for you. What motivated you to create such elemental entities to coexist with human beings like Miriam?
That's an interesting question, Matt. But I basically wanted kids. The big idea was that we're in trouble with water on this planet, and the people that are going to have to deal with it are kids now, because it's getting worse. And there's all these thinking that by 2050, half of the planet will not have access to clean water.
Wow.
Already billions of people don't have access to clean water. And it just gets, but they're going to have to deal with it. So then it's like, well, wouldn't it be better if they could deal with it if they love water and they could deal with it with love and respect rather than the fear and greed, which seems to be motivating everybody right now. And so that was the big idea. So then it's like, okay, how do you get kids to love water? And, we all had lessons in the water cycle at school, which I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought it was snore pie with yawn sauce. It never really interested me too much, until I did an episode about water for the Magic School Bus, and then that I had to figure out again. It's okay. So how can kids experience water? So I wanted a human character that could turn into water, and then she would meet water, right? So does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the reason.
Yeah. Yeah. She now to explain, Miriam is the protagonist in this book. She's an 11-year-old girl with an exceptional capability of puddle jumping, which I thought was fascinating, with the power to turn into water.
She can puddle and she can puddle jump. Yeah.
And puddle jump.
Yes.
Both.
Puddling is just turning into water. Simple pimple. Yeah. No, puddling is puddle jumping is she can go from wherever she is to where a Wateruba is as water. So if there's a Wateruba, on the other side of the planet, she can get there, but as water, traveling really fast. Again, that was because I wanted kids to have the experience of understanding that water connects everything. So you can get, okay, you may have to travel through a cactus, or you may have to, you're in the sky for some of it, and then you go into sewer systems or what, but it's, you travel as water everywhere. And so, yeah, that just appealed to my own imagination. So
kind of going around the rocks, as you said earlier as well, just going around rocks as water, totally fine.
You just have to let go and just go how you're going to go.
Yep.
Just let it flow.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. You had mentioned freezing and evaporating and even pollution as a natural part of their lives. I want to know your view on whether this reflects kind of a certain approach to teaching children about tolerance towards others.
Huh. That's interesting.
Because they just tolerate it. Waterubas, they just tolerate it. They don't do anything about it. They just accept it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. Just accepting things as they are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Things or anything as like there were discussions in the books when, Miriam would say something like, well, if that happens, it's going to be bad. And then the Waterubas would go, what's bad?
Yeah. What's bad?
Isn't it just what it is? How is that bad? That's just what it is. And so, again, little philosophical questions sprinkled in there on purpose. Because, yeah, you're right. They just accept things and things and any person or whatever as, at face value. It is what's happening.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just is what it is. Nothing they can do about it either. It's just
no, but they don't want to. The difference is the Waterubas don't want to do anything about it. Therefore, they don't get stressed, fussed. They don't suffer. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, if the humans and they very much wanted to do something about it and they got scared and they tried to, but you need that because that moves the story along. But ultimately, Miriam does just have to really let go in order to make things work. So, yeah.
Certainly help. Well, certainly help with the puddle jumping. That's for sure. I mean, you are water. You just got to accept it.
Yeah. And to begin with, she found it scary, and then
I don't blame her.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I don't blame her at all. I mean, you're turning into water.
Yes. And oh no, you're in a thunderstorm. What? How much? What? Yes, you know that.
Right.
Oh no, I'm going to melt now because I'm in a thunderstorm. Oh no.
Yes.
And then going back up and starting all over again.
Yes.
and maybe in a different area too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like you're not stuck in one place all the time. You're
You never
literally
water
trapped.
never stops. It never stops moving.
Nope.
Yep.
Never does. Never stops
I mean,
for any reason.
if you get frozen in a glacier or something, you might, you're not moving for a while, but you're still, moving within the water never stops moving.
No.
I have to think about that.
Yeah. Well, I found
Think-
that as a big, yeah.
Yeah, listen, I know I have a big brain, tiny skull, but listen, it don't work some days, so I'm over here like mind blown.
Yeah. Well, good. As long as your mind is blown.
Little bro's like, oh,
Yeah.
As long as your mind is blown, my work here is done. Thank you.
mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. I blew a mind today. Good job. Good job. Now I have to talk about Jeff. Jeff doesn't know he is a character with cerebral palsy. This really stuck a chord. This really stuck a chord with me personally, and I don't think I've ever told you this. I have a twin brother who has nonverbal cerebral palsy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're twins. He's older than me.
What, by minutes?
Seconds, like 40 seconds. 40 seconds or somewhere around that line. Yeah, we're twins, and he has nonverbal cerebral palsy. From your perspective as an author, how important is it to just seamlessly weave that kind of representation into children's literature, not just from your work, but just as a whole?
Totally important. Absolutely and completely important. And I had a lot of help because, as you know, we have mutual friends who are familiar with what it feels like. That's what I needed to know.
Yep.
So I had a lot of help. And then one of the readers was Maria Garrido.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And she was so lovely in that, just pointing out how much she liked that nobody ever made a big deal out of it with Jeff. It just was. And that he actually had there was that scene where he's too tired to go upstairs, so he puddles and turns, and they carry him up. And so that there was actually ways that we used, him for that kind of, anyway. It's really important. And it was really important because I had no, I personally, once I felt I knew that I wasn't making stuff up, and I had people like you guys to read things and say, wait, this doesn't ring true. I don't, it's not that hard. That's what I'm also trying to say. To weave these things in. In fact, it wasn't. I mean, you may know that it was talking to Bob when I suddenly realized I suddenly realized that Jeff. I didn't know that up until then, because and book one was already written. Hadn't really occurred to me. I had been talking to Elaine Aaron, who's the world's expert on highly sensitive people, and so it was important to weave that aspect into things. So you see that in Samir. Samir is a highly sensitive person, and so is Eric. Again, it was just understanding what that means and what strengths and weaknesses people like that have. It's mostly strengths, by the way, because you may remember from the book that Samir has a way of reading the room. That's one of the things highly sensitive people can do particularly well. Yeah. They can read people's facial expression. They can hear voice, hear what's going on in somebody's voice. I found it absolutely fascinating. I just loved writing for these guys, because all of us are highly sensitive on some level anyway. But
definitely,
yeah.
Yep.
So really important to show. I mean, it was really fun because I didn't have any broadcasters telling me what I could or couldn't do. It was really fun in these books to develop these characters, and nobody told me what I had to do. So
you're using your free will.
Yeah, well, or what, or just what seemed right to me. Because the other thing is, I never feel like I'm creating it so much as discovering it. So it was like that. I discovered that it felt like a discovery to me that Jeff had cerebral palsy. It didn't feel like, okay, I'm going to decide he has, no, it was, oh my God, yeah, he does. That's really cool. That's interesting. Okay, what does that mean? It was that feeling.
I never thought about it. I never thought
There were
about
moments
it
in
that
the
way.
book when stuff happened as I was writing that I had no idea was going to happen until I wrote it.
Just,
It was
I
just,
love that for you, though.
just wrote down like, wow, okay.
Like, that makes sense.
No,
Well, there
I
was a scene when Miriam is going to go off. And she's going to go off and go through the tech that they have at Arid. And this is really scary that she's got to do this. And so they have this whole plan, and Eddie's going to pick, I don't want to give away too much from book 1 to 2, but anyway, she's going to be picked up, and anyway, she's going to end up in this machine. But she was being picked up by Brad's grandmother, and everybody else was going to stay at home. And as I was writing the scene, as they were all saying goodbye to her and wishing her luck, Brad wasn't in the scene. And then suddenly he comes down the stairs. I didn't know. I mean, suddenly he comes down the stairs, and this is what happened to me. And he decides he's going to go with her to help on the way to taking her to Arid. I was like, Brad, now I have to go back and rewrite all this other stuff. I didn't know you were going to do that. It literally felt like that.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah,
thanks a lot.
Brad.
It was definitely a Brad thing to do, but I didn't know he was.
It was.
Yes.
Thanks.
And I just love that about writing these books, because like I said, there's nobody else hanging over your shoulder telling you what you have to do or whatever. So
yeah,
I could do that just to mess with you if you want.
I can also ignore you if I want. There you go.
That's true. She can do that. Again, free will. I've asked enough questions so far. Andy, you got one or what?
No, I'm just here for entertainment.
I want to know what it's like to have a twin brother like that.
It's interesting. It can be difficult at times because I'm the only other sibling. Actually, I am now getting paid to take care of him through an agency. Actually, my first paycheck is today. It's my third week on the job, and actually he's been very cooperative because we've had different caregivers, and the first one was great. Second one was kind of but we switched agencies, and we hadn't had a caregiver in a few months, so I thought it was gonna be tough for him like that first week, only because we haven't had a caregiver in a while. It would take time for him to adjust because he does not do well with change. So it's tough because you kind of have to adjust a little bit, but it opens your eyes, really.
And also he's your brother. He's your twin brother.
Twin brother.
I mean, so you've been doing this from when you were just a little kid. It's always been a fact of your life.
It has been,
yeah. But also, so have you learned to be a carer then? Or have you just learned from watching the other people? I mean, I think it's my oldest son, who's a singer-songwriter, to make money when he became a carer.
I have over time. I kind of had been an unpaid caregiver over the years, like when my parents are working and whatnot. It's been with me for a long time, but I've learned that over time. But most of the time, I was keeping an eye on him. Now we've got some sort of routine going, like we do puzzles and word searches and exercise. Not to
I love this.
But yeah, and
I like when he tells him no,
which is very rare, I must say.
What you tell him no?
No.
He tells you no.
Yeah, because most of the time, because he's not.
Like
They do. They do.
Andy, she would. I mean, really, they
We had
does.
fun with
Sorry.
it,
She
though.
does too.
We adopted him into the friend group, though.
But see, he can't really, think for himself. He's not open-ended like we are. So
Right.
that's why most of the time we have to ask him yes or no questions like,
Right.
do you want to do a word search? Yes. And then I'm like, okay, we'll do a word search. Other times, most times it's like, hey, do you want to do a puzzle? No. Like, okay.
No.
Most of the time it's that, but he's actually kind of, we have like 60-piece puzzles. Those are not too big, they're like Disney and like Finding Nemo and stuff. So it's stuff like that, but we've gotten into this routine of, doing stuff, and it's kind of gotten us closer. It's kind of opened my eyes a little bit because, usually when he gets home, I just keep an eye on him until my parents get home. Now we've got this routine going, and
that's interesting.
And the books we read, they're like Dr. Seuss books. Most of the time it's the same four, but hey, I'm here for it.
So you sort of have to be committed to this in a way you never had to be before.
Yeah. Especially now that I'm getting paid for it, I kind of have to be. And I kind of have to be. If anybody's wondering, the books, not a paid advertisement. First of all, I'm just stating. Mostly it's the Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, Hop on Pop, and the Cat in the Hat Comes Back. Mainly those four. But we have a whole thing of like Dr. Seuss and Curious George. I think we've got some golden books as well. Not Sesame Street, but Disney. I think I should get him some old Sesame Street books. I think
yes, you should.
I should. But it's really kind of opened my eyes. It's like, we're closer together, and he's done, I must say, he's done very well. My dad and I were just talking last night because, they're appreciating me stepping up. They're actually going away on a 12-day cruise literally next week across Italy, Croatia. They're actually zip lining in Croatia.
Wow.
Montenegro, Nice, France, and a couple other stops, and their last stop is in Barcelona, Spain. So they've never been away from us that long, nor that far away from us, because they've been to like the Dominican Republic. They've been to twice, but this is the longest they've been away from us. And of course, as parents, you're rightfully worried about your kids.
Yeah, but they feel they can do it because of you. I think that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we'll have like some family members here during the evening and whatnot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's backup, but it's mainly me, and my dad was like, I'm really impressed how you're stepping up.
Oh.
And again, I'm getting paid for it, so it's like, why not get paid for something I'm already doing?
Yeah.
But
it's hard work.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Because most of the time he's been great. He hasn't given me any trouble or anything. On occasion he might, but it hasn't been very often. But again, most of the time we just ask him yes or no questions, because again, he's not, this isn't an insult, but he's not open-minded like we are. So I had to take that into consideration.
It's just how he is. Yeah.
It's just how he is. Yeah. And as Andy said, we've kind of accepted him into our friend group.
Not kind of. No, we did.
We did. Well, they did.
What did you say? I didn't hear what you said, Andy.
I said it's not kind of. We did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Taking back the qualification there. Good.
Oh yes. No.
Yeah.
I make sure he's there.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, we just make sure that he's there. Yeah, and again, my parents are really appreciative. The thing is, we did not know until maybe about a month ago or so that I actually could get paid to take care of him. Now, is it going to be a forever thing? No, it's not. It's not going to be a forever thing, and that's fine. My parents.
So you signed up with the agency then? You work for the agency? Yeah.
Yeah, I work with an agency on that. Yeah. But
good for you.
Yeah, I'm very happy about it, especially with this with this trip they got coming up. Again, my mother's Italian, so this is a dream come true for her.
Oh.
You know, she's more excited than anybody
But
else, but also,
what a gift you're giving them. It's fantastic, Matt. I
yeah,
love
it really is. You know, it puts them at ease as well.
it.
You
Yeah.
know, because again, they're going to be gone from us, out of the country, on the other side of the world for 12
By
days.
you.
Yeah.
What did you say?
By you.
Yeah.
What do you mean by
on my side of the world. Is that what you
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Across the pond.
Yeah.
Well, a
Listen,
little further out.
So yeah, a little further out. So Matt, I have a question.
Yeah.
So with all your experience with your brother, then what did you think about Jeff? Did he ring true to you?
Yeah, he really rang true to me. You
Oh,
know,
good.
I think that's why I brought it up, because I am I guess I could call myself a disability advocate. You know, me
Yeah.
having a twin brother who is nonverbal. You know, he can't communicate like you and I. So I just didn't.
And like Jeff, I mean, Jeff had no problem
Yeah.
communicating. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's
most
interesting. One of the first things I learned from you guys was how this I don't want to call it a disease. This reality condition. Thank you.
this reality, we could go with.
Yeah,
That's
this
a better term.
has so many different ways that it manifests. I had no idea. There's no such thing as just cerebral palsy, and that's what it is. It's incredible. It's really something. What a thing.
What a thing indeed. I didn't think it would be, you know, and I just didn't think it would be, you know, that seamless to you, you know, because again, you're just learning about all of this. It's brand new to you. So obviously that must have created a lot of challenges for you. You know.
Well, it's accepted. It's just he's a person. So he was a person, Jeff. And that was, you know, and I made some mistakes to begin with about what he could or couldn't do. But that was it didn't affect him as a character. You know what I mean? Because so it was, yeah, the one thing that's happened, the most interesting thing that's happened since I finished the second book was I really miss the characters. Even the bad guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I never thought somebody would miss the bad guys, but
dude, a little bit. Well, Pitney Dryburn, let's face it, he's an interesting character, Pitney Dryburn. So he interested me as a character. So I just I miss them.
Yeah.
But
I mean as the last chapter starts, see you when I see you, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, having a twin brother who is nonverbal, it does have its challenges, but I think I really haven't been as open about him until just recently, you know, only not that long ago. It's not that I was afraid to talk about him, but it's like I didn't know how to express it. I mean, it's through my experiences, but I've just never understood how to kind of explain what it's like to be an only sibling with a nonverbal brother. Yeah,
I know it must, but so you and he never developed your own way of communicating as you were twin, you know, like twins do sometimes.
Not until recently, you know.
Really,
because
that's interesting.
Not until recently. I mean, when we had some communication, but it's never been like this. And don't get me wrong, I'm very happy that it is. I really am, you know.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
But
I love the progress that it made for you guys. I really do. I love that bond that you guys have been getting.
It's quite a bond, you know. And again, I take stuff that one of our other caregivers did as well, you know, like the reading and stuff like that, and exercise and stuff. That stuff I really liked with the caregiver, so I wanted to carry that over to mine because he really likes that stuff, you know. So I feel very, very happy with the bonds that my brother and I have now, and it's kind of brought us together, but it has also allowed a lot of trust as well. Especially with my parents in this trip. They've been planning this trip for probably at least the last year. So this is
so they would start to plan it before you took on this job.
Yeah.
So they must have been planning it and wondering how the heck are we going to do this, and then boom.
Yeah. that just fell in its lap in of itself.
I just love that too from their point of view, that feeling like you just don't know, you really want to do something and you just don't know how you're going to do it, but you somehow hold the vision and then it happened. I love that kind of story.
Well, then again, it might not be the vision you originally entail, because things change, life
Where
happens.
did Andy go?
And Andy disappeared. Great. See, things happen.
Were they upset by what we said?
No. I doubt it, but I don't know. I think Andy probably had a call. Maybe I don't know.
Right.
But
anyway,
yeah, I think it's great that I'm being paid for it and all that, but more importantly, I'm trusted with this. And again, we'll have backup just in case while they're gone. But
of course,
I think I'm honored that I am trusted in this way. I really am, because it's
great.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy about that.
You're a lovely person, Matt.
Oh, thank you. Right back at you. Yeah, I don't know where Andy went. I'm awaiting a text wondering where Andy went. But probably not gonna get it. Where did you go? You left me hanging. Rude. Let's switch. I don't know. Andy will probably come back. I hope.
I've just sent her a text.
Okay.
Sorry, Andy's a them, isn't it? It's they and them.
They them, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I keep making a mistake.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So I'm gonna move to Fraggle for a sec.
Yes. Okay.
Move to Fraggle. Which Fraggle's personality do you relate to the most, and why?
Guess.
Well, we're narrowing it down.
Internet crashed, she said.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. We can't do anything with that. Red. Red.
Oh, that wasn't my first guess. I would have thought Moki.
Really?
I can see that.
Oh, that's interesting.
I would have thought Moki because of her artistic abilities, but
I was just talking to somebody today about this whole thing about how back in the day, you'd be told, when you developed a program that had a female lead, you'd be told, girls will watch boys be the heroes, but boys aren't going to watch when a girl is the hero. And you just think, you know what? That's BS.
Right. That is.
And I'm not accepting that. And so that Red Fraggle was like a real, really a character that, she's energetic. She knows what she wants. She's, and she has an interesting relationship with Moki.
Absolutely.
I love both. I love all 5 Fraggles, by the way, obviously.
So do I.
But yeah. But and it was really fun because I worked really closely with Karen Prell, the performer for Red, to develop the character. So yeah, have a soft spot for Red.
Yeah. And the woman lead kind of reminded me of an episode. I don't think you wrote it, but the scene in particular was in season 2 of the original, and it was an episode of Cave of One's Own where Moki and Red were living in a cave with each other. They get into this big fight, and then Gobo's like, you two should do it, and Moki's like, Gobo, you stay out of this. This is between me and her. It's like you go, girl. You go, girl. Like yes. Like yes.
Yeah.
It's like you put him in his place.
Yeah. No,
I
they're
love that.
it's an interesting group of characters, and they all love each other, like the Muppets in general. Yes, you say, Piggy gets mad at people or whatever, and but nobody, they're never mean spirited. Jim Henson was always very clear about that.
Hmm.
They're never mean. They all love each other. They may be different. They may have disagreements. She may want to karate chop Kermit, but she loves him. So, and the
It's
Fraggles,
adorable.
it is obviously, and the
Yeah.
Fraggles carry that same, because they're very different characters, but they all complement each other and get on and appreciate each other, even
And
old.
sing.
What?
And they sing too.
And they sing
about it.
hugely. Yeah. Anyway.
Hugely. So I've been curious about this. Where did the inspiration for the underground locations come from? Because they live in a cave, for the
Um,
Fraggles.
That was partly through the design that came from Michael Frith, one of the original people in the Fraggle Five of us that sort of worked on developing it together. And there were these caves in Bermuda where he grew up. And so when we had the idea of Fraggle Rock, we wanted, the underground thing was, how would you go if you went through a hole in somebody's house? It's natural that you would go down. And then, he just took to it immediately because it just reminded him of these caves that in Bermuda. So that's where a lot of that came from. I mean, I could say something deeply psychological about being all unconscious and all this. No. it just was, and it was, it's endless. There's all sorts of places they could go, and there, you can connect up underground in a way that you can't on top of the ground without being seen, obviously. So this idea that there's all different bits of the rock, you find out more of that in the Back to the Rock.
Oh yeah.
All these places we never saw in the original series. But
I don't necessarily. I know people call Back to the Rock a revival. I personally call it an expansion.
Much more accurate. I agree.
Much more to it, and I love Back to the Rock. I love that they brought back what they refer to as legacy songs for the new generation. I love that they brought that back.
Well, the songs are so good.
They are. Are there any songs that get in your head from time to time more than any other than the theme?
No, other than the theme. Yeah, it's sort of sometimes if you're going, oh, I'm working things will just, trigger, I don't know, to Catch the Tail by the Tiger. I don't know, sometimes they'll just come to your head.
Just out of nowhere, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, happens to me all the time.
Yeah, that was one of the best parts of it, was Dennis Lee and Phil Balsam, their songs.
Yeah.
And there was also, when we were writing it, was the edict was the song can never stop this show. The song has to help move. Unlike in a musical, sometimes the way musicals work, you stop and you go, sing, oh, what a beautiful morning, and the action stops while people are singing. But that was in Fraggle Rock, the songs always had to keep the story going somehow.
And that's what I loved about that. It kept the story moving while they're singing about whatever.
Yeah.
I love that it didn't stop the story.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's tempting. It's like, I just want to sing just because. No, keep it moving along. Keep it moving along. But I loved how that played out. With the songs connecting to the story.
Yeah, I also just wanted to say what you said about expansion was, because my experience on Back to the Rock was, they asked me to be part of it for the first series, to be in the writer's room for 3 weeks and to write a script, one of the first scripts, which was really great. But I'm in the writer's room, and the writer's room is where? LA. And how many times, what's the time difference between LA and London? Oh yeah, 8 hours.
8 hours.
So that meant I would start my day at 6 p.m. Matt, I have to tell you, that is not my happy time for starting work.
I don't blame you.
So I would work till about 9 o'clock when they were taking a break anyway, and then catch up on the rest of the day the next day. Anyway, so
Right.
that went on for 3 weeks, and it was really, and I just loved the writers' room. The writers were great. Matt Fussfeld and Alex Cuthbertson, who were the showrunners, were great. But they did tend more to focus on comedy, because they were like the showrunners for New Girl, a live action comedy series, things like, and American Dad and things like that. Where I was always more interested, or let's say I paid more attention to structure, and so I kept thinking that I'm frustrating them, because they'd be pitching on a joke, say for Moki, and it was so much fun because everybody was so funny, and it was real. I'd never worked in an American writers' room before, where everybody works on everything, right? So we'd all be pitching on this joke and think how to make it funnier, and then I'd be the one, like in the old grump, the old fart, who would have to say, guys, this is a Wembley story. Why are we pitching on this Moki joke? We haven't seen Wembley for two scenes. And so instead of saying, "Oh, be quiet and go sit over in the corner," what do you know? They said, which I expected partly, not because they were mean, but just because, I was like the senior member, let's put it that way. But I was the only one who had the kind of experience with Fraggle Rock that I'd had.
Right.
So they would say, yeah, you're right. So for the second season, the second season of the Back to the Rock, then they asked me to be in the room for the whole 20 weeks. And
Wow.
that meant, it was such a compliment. I loved it so much. Even though it meant starting work at 6:00 at night. Anyway, but that meant I got to work on all the shows. And what I wanted to tell you about when you said about expansion, which I just loved, because at the end of that 20 weeks, at the end of working on all the shows and seeing all the scripts, I just said, you guys, we've taken Fraggle Rock where we never would have imagined it going when we were first created. We couldn't have imagined this, but it's still Fraggle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And that was huge to me. I just thought, wow, we had no idea what we were doing. And the fact that it had that kind of flexibility to expand, like you say, expansion. So thanks for noticing that. It wasn't a reboot. It was not a reboot. No, it was
not at all. And I love that they incorporate original songs too. But I think I just love that it was an expansion. I love that. Have you had a chance to hear or see anything about the Fraggle Rock live tour that they've been doing over the last year?
I've only because I know Johnny Tartaglia, who's he's spearheading it, and he's been doing that. Who's loving it and all that. But no, I mean, it was going to come to England, and then it didn't for some reason, which I don't.
It should have.
Yeah, no, and maybe it will. Have you seen it?
I went to see it in New York about a month ago.
And?
It was amazing. The walk, their walk arounds of the Fraggles, they look
I've
amazing.
seen them. I've seen bits of it.
They look amazing, and it's a really fun story. I don't really want to spoil too much for because it is going back on tour here in the States in about a month and a half or so.
No, you just want your listeners to go. You don't want to give them.
Just go. Go.
Yeah, don't send them spoilers.
If you want to see it, go see it. Although I was thinking recently, now that they've done this, John Tartaglia had said, this is something that he would have loved to have seen when he was a kid. And it's like, well, what if? I don't think it would have came to the States because it wasn't as popular. Not as popular, it was, but definitely nowhere near as it was in Canada, because they were airing on the national network. What story would it have had? I don't know. I ain't gotten that far yet. But I think because you also got to remember, folks, that the Muppet Show did a tour around like 84. I think it was 1984. I think it was 85. So I think a Fraggle Rock tour probably through VEE, who was doing like Sesame Street Live and stuff like that. I think that could have worked in Canada. I think.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it would have worked in Canada. Yeah.
I think it maybe some stops here in the States, like New York or something, but I think it would have been a bigger hit in Canada, I think. But we have one now, and it looks amazing. They just did a off-Broadway run. That's where I went to see it. I traveled all the way from here in Baltimore to New York, a 3-hour trip, and actually I'm going back to New York in about a month and a half or so for a thing celebrating Jim Henson's 90th birthday, which I'm super excited about. I've been planning that since March.
Wow.
And I'm just so excited about it. It's at this place called the Museum of the Moving Image.
That's right. I know that.
Usually it's 2 days. This year it's 4.
Wow.
And I'm meeting up with a few friends, some of which I've never met in person before, which I'm very excited about, and quite a few of them are excited to meet me, which I'm honored.
There you
really
go.
am. I'm honored about that. But yeah, I think a tour would have worked in Canada. Again, maybe some stops here in the States, but I think a Canadian Fraggle Rock live tour in like 1985 would have worked beautifully.
Woo! Yeah.
I think so. But hey, you know what? We have one now, and it's great. It's been in the U.S. and Canada, so. And it's
I want it to come here.
I hope it does. I hope it gets the chance to come to England. I mean, we're getting Paddington Bear here next year, so why not?
But also Fraggle Rock. There was a British version of Fraggle Rock.
Yes, there was.
So,
yeah,
so it was popular here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think because Paddington Bear's been a huge hit in the West End. I don't know if you've had a chance to hear about it or see it at all.
The stage play or the musical?
The Paddington Bear musical.
No.
I've been hearing so much about it. It is wonderful.
Good.
They're actually bringing it to Broadway next year, which I think is fantastic. Which I think is fantastic. So it's like, hey, trade off.
Yes.
We get Paddington Bear, you get Fraggle Rock back in England.
We should have it here.
Trade. It's wonderful.
So I'm gonna have to shoot off in a minute.
Oh, it's fine. We're at the hour mark anyway. I was just about to wrap up anyway. We don't know where Andy went, but
no, I wrote to her.
We're just teasing. Andy's Wi-Fi we mentioned this a little bit ago. Andy's Wi-Fi crashed and currently has no Wi-Fi, so it's just been me for the last 10 minutes. But hey, you know what? It's been absolutely wonderful having you on, Jocelyn. Thank you
appreciate
so much for being here. It was so wonderful catching up with you.
Blabbed on too much, but you can edit, so you don't have to hear all that.
I edit. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. I really appreciate you being here. I really do.
Well, thank you so much for asking me. It was really fun to talk to you properly too.
Yes, it had been too long since we had done so.
Yes.
So it was wonderful. Let's do it more. Let's do it more. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. See you soon, then. See you. See you when I see you.
See you when I see you. That's all for now. Hope you got your fill. Join us next week for another fun-filled, enchanting, and exciting episode of Bingo Smorgasbord. Thanks for visiting. So long.